the IGN's Sparking Zero review because they think they got it wrong. And I had planned on making a review of the game anyway. You know what I'm saying? I had my own thoughts about the game that I wanted to put out there anyway, because despite it being in the honeymoon phase and everything, it's definitely not perfect. I'm going to be honest. Not perfect. Game is overrated. I'm ass. That's cool. But also, you might be right, but you might also be wrong. But they said that they don't like, the IGN review. If you don't know, and I can't show it, I wish I could, but this review has like 30,000 dislikes. I just can't see the thing. And I didn't like the video. I liked it out of solidarity with the creator, because I just don't like disliking videos like that. But they saying that they shot on the reviewer. I don't know why. I need to see what he said that was like so bad. What score did IGN give it? They gave it a 7. And me looking at, number scores, I'm no stranger to giving something that people are in love with a 6 or a 7 and thinking that ain't no big deal, because a 6 is still a relatively positive score, so is a 7. It's better than average. You feel what I'm saying? But they start going crazy and saying that a 7 was egregious. And I was just like, yo, as a person who has reviewed music before and used to give it scores, like, maybe they just overreacting. So I kind of want to see what he's saying.
Out of this.
If it was really that bad.
If I'm the one these
7 isn't bad? No, 7 is not bad.
guys want.
I feel like people just haven't gotten out of school enough, and they think like a 70, they thinking about numbers individually as if they're like scores on a test. So they'll look at a 5 and be like, oh, that's a fail. And you look at a 6 is like a D, and a 7 is like a C. It's like, no, nigga, that's still very good in the overall grand scope of things. You need to come out of the school mentality for a second.
Then that's what they're gonna get.
As the first direct sequel to Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 since its PlayStation 2 debut, there's something charming about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero's old-school design and presentation. It's tougher than Vegeta's chest plate and imbalanced in ways that are both annoying and lore accurate.
Bro, just looking at the footage, I want to play the game right now.
Menus are labyrinthian. Training tips are sparse and sometimes not very useful, but every battle is crafted with the sole purpose of putting the Dragon Ball Z fighting fantasy as it appears in the anime into our hands. Fast-paced, key-slinging, teleport-kicking, and magical hair
I still have not played with that Goku outfit.
dying is great fun, so long as you're patient with its gnarly learning curve. As a result, settling back into the pace and precision of this brawler feels just as much like a labor of love as the effort to resurrect the series in the first place.
Oh no! Folks, should I maybe get the heck out of here?
Show me something. I think they just hating on my dog, cause he ain't said nothing that bad so far. What?
It's undeniable how great Sparking Zero's characters and environments look in still screenshots. Every character, no matter what era of Dragon Ball they're
This is exactly what you're gonna be getting for majority of the story screenshots.
from, looks better than I remember. In motion, things get a bit more dicey, with some cutscene animations in particular being awkwardly stiff. But at least the sound hits the mark.
If you want your little brat returned safely, Kakarot, prove your Saiyan spirit.
The raucous blast, key explosions, and booming whooshes of Z fighters flying at high speeds are ripped straight off the screens of old TV episodes. Most of the iconic voices of the various series are recreated pitch perfectly by their original voice actors too, which is an
Fire.
important detail to get right.
Farewell, Bulma, Trunks, and even you, Kakarot.
Another win for my inner child was the truly immense roster. 180 plus fighters pulled from every nook and cranny of the series are playable. Many of these characters are repeated in some fashion. There are 19 versions of Goku, for example, but they all aren't simply reskins. They can have different special techniques and transformation trees, meaning base level Goku from the Saiyan invasion days has a different set of moves and a much lower upside than Buu Saga or Super Era Goku, who can transform into various Technicolor versions of Super Saiyan. These abilities can't be changed, but I could modify each warrior with ability items that boost things like attack power and health, so I
Which game was it, Dragon Ball wise, where you could change the skill that they had? Like you could switch from their ultimate I just don't remember which one. Was that Tenkaichi? It was Budokai. Okay.
I barely noticed any benefit at all when doing so. The controls are universal for all characters, but some on the roster interact with the standard system slightly differently than others, which is an appreciated layer of nuance. Android characters can't actively regain ki in order to launch blast attacks, while
Fire.
gigantic characters like Janemba can't be grabbed.
This shit is so bad, bro. I have so many like bad things about this game, especially when it comes to like the huge fights and them taking up a majority of your screen. That isn't anything new or something exclusive to this game in particular, but I just fail to realize or see how the huge like characters fit in a game like this.
Sparking
Especially with the camera moving the way that it moves. If the camera stayed in one spot and like did this Sekiro-esque pan out every time the big character got close to you, so you would still fully appear in the screen, and I would think it's more reasonable. But the way it is right now, and the characters moving as fast as they do, is super, super jarring, especially if a nigga decide that he want to grade 8 baby you or Janempa you, or God fucking forbid they want to Dr. Wheelo you.
Zero makes no attempt to balance these differences either. Every time I was forced to fight a character that was canonically stronger than mine in the manga or anime, they were just as oppressive in-game as I'd expect.
Cap. Why the fuck did Radix destroy? I mean, I know I wouldn't say ass, but I was definitely not the fighter in the game that I am now when I started the game. So maybe Radix had like a learning curve that was a little bit more steep. But why was he the hardest opponent in the whole shit? No, not the whole shit. I went through the Goku Black era and everything. Raditz is still the hardest opponent I fought. I can go back to that fight. That nigga was, him specifically, was reading everything.
I didn't always like it, but I respect the
And he was the first fight.
commitment.
Let me see what you got.
Unfortunately, the bar to execute the various techniques of its diverse cast is very high and extremely frustrating. Inputs are simple overall, but early on, I often felt lost when combat picked up the pace. Part of that is admittedly on me. The last entry of the series I played with fervor, but that was right after Barack Obama was elected. The fast pace of Sparking Zero compared to Tenkaichi 3, mixed with the lax tutorial system, threw my 17 years older reaction speed out of the ring with ease.
I wouldn't say it's a lack of tutorial though. I mean, they walk you through, if you want to learn everything in the base settings of the tutorial, they do. They're not gonna go out, they just don't go out of their way intentionally to make it known through the story, because they assume that if you're about to enter the story that you've already gone through the tutorial.
I spent a lot of time traveling back and forth between regular fights and the training mode to check and double check my understanding of when and how to use these techniques, as well as in the settings to adjust my button schemes and accessibility toggles.
The settings and tutorial are the training and tutorials are definitely ass? I don't think so. You get a menu for everything. I think the explanation for some of them can be a little jarring, but for the most part, they explain every move that you can make. For example, people think that you can't get out of Broly's key spam thing online, and there is literally a move designed specifically for niggas that are trying to key spam you with the revenge counter. Like, you could literally dash out of it.
But really the only effective teacher was
But I don't think a lot of people did tutorial. I'm gonna be dead serious.
25 brutal hours of getting kicked around. Also, compared to modern day fighting games, Sparking Zero's training options are rudimentary at best. There's no expectation to lay out frame data and hitboxes in a less competitively focused game like this, but targeted drills or a more nuanced customization of CPU behaviors would go a long way to help beginners and returning players fly up to the high skill floor. As you do damage and gain energy, a meter will charge that grants a skill point every time it fills. There's a handful of ways to spend these points, the most common being on unique skills each brawler has, like this and this one.
This is what I'm trying to get better at, bro. I be wanting to throw hands, bro, and niggas be wanting to use abilities, and it's really annoying, and I'm loving that he used Yajirobe as an opportunity, because this shit is so fucking annoying. When you're destroying a nigga and he can pop some shit in literally under 2 seconds, even if it costs 5 skill points, why the fuck is he able to restore his entire health bar? Why? No cooldown, no nothing. I'm going crazy on him, but that don't mean Yajirobe still can't throw hands. The basic controls exist for everybody. Timing exists the same for everybody. He could still fuck me up.
But points also need to be spent carefully on transformations and the new revenge counter system, which works a lot like combo breakers from Killer Instinct. The timing on your defensive options is razor thin and can be a real bear to learn, but these can be life-saving. Unlike Ki, which is also used for a variety of offensive and defensive maneuvers, the resource management decisions you have to make on a moment-to-moment basis really add a welcome bit of strategy to an otherwise frantic fight.
I mean, so far, I don't see him saying anything that was too egregious.
There is definitely an old-school approach to a lot of the progression systems.
That's what I'm saying. We said the exact same thing at the exact same time.
Menus of Spartan Zero. You can grind achievements which get you rewards like characters, costumes, and in-game currency at a healthy rate. There are microtransactions like a $35 season pass covering 3 packs of characters and 2 $15 music packs, but I didn't see any option to buy them without leaving the game and going to the storefront directly.
Facts.
A rarity in 2024. Similarly, so many of the
Guy said training mode lacked depth and proper training options. The way that this game plays, it gives you the impression that there's so much combat intricacy that it could be played competitively. With that in mind, it makes you feel like the training would be a little bit more intricately designed. Like when you go into Tekken, you can see everything laid out a certain way so that you can properly or accurately know when you're putting in certain data. That game, like, that doesn't exist in this. Like, people are actually trying to play this game competitively, and I think that the intention of the game is being misconstrued for what it ultimately was trying to be, because people are taking it as seriously as they're taking it, especially when you go on ranked. But I think it would benefit from, especially with the timing windows, it would benefit from, you know what I'm saying, a little bit more of a layered system when it comes to the training mode. At least when you see what it is that you're trying to put into the shit, like a log, seeing what the computer is doing, looking at like even a certain timing window. Like if they could tell you, like even a mini game where you could do like timing windows, because there's the super counter is some shit that you literally have to like frame one get right. If you don't, you getting hit. It's so unforgiving. Even the Z counter. That's some shit that if you don't get right, like very, very almost frame perfect, if you don't get it right, you fuck. Yeah, the game is being compared against fighting games like Tekken. When fighters exist, this isn't in that genre of fighter. Again, I understand what you're saying. It's, what do you call it? Unintentionally deceptive with how intricate the combat is. Because there's only a few moves that you need to be frame perfect for in order to pull off. And those happen to be counters, but those are also the most important thing that you need to have in your arsenal before you go online. And especially when the CPU does it so frequently as a defensive tactic against you when you're playing story mode, it is in the front of your mind. Like, I want to learn how to do that too. But you can't do it as easily. But they make it such a priority. So that's why I feel like they need to have it. They need to have some type of layering in there for you to see.
But those modes don't have paths to the customized screen within them, so you have to exit one completely and go the long way to make adjustments. This was barely acceptable in 2005, and we certainly don't have to live like this in 2024.
Old Dragon new tricks.
The flagship single-player mode is called Episode Battles.
This is the worst part of the game, buff. Well, nah, I'm gonna be honest. I got another complaint.
Which is a truncated retelling of the biggest Dragon Ball stories from various characters' perspectives. Just about every Dragon Ball game has done this in some form or fashion, but this
this looks so good though. Like when I look at the game being played, the other complaints, they're complaints, but then visually it's just so stimulating. Like this is really all on the face, on the surface. This is really all you could want out of a Dragon Ball game.
Exhaustive version does a good job at keeping the time between battles short and prioritizing the important moments versus making you play every single skirmish as Tenkaichi 3 did. The standout feature this time around, though, is that certain events can actually be cleverly changed for sometimes dramatic new outcomes. That could involve making a choice during a cutscene or ending a battle in a specific way that then changes the course of the story, sometimes dramatically. But not all of these side attractions are created equal, with only a few I've seen being truly jaw-dropping or substantial, like teaming up with Piccolo to kill Cell early. Episode battles can be very difficult, since
Somebody told me there's an episode battle where you can fight the Ginyu Force on Earth. I have not gone to that yet. We could do it on stream, low key, because I haven't looked at it yet. But I agree that they're probably not all created equal. But what if scenarios aside, the most egregious thing I think this game did was not allow Vegeta's story to go to Super. It shows so much Goku bias that it's actually ridiculous. And the fact is, they have these random moments where they'll pick and choose which fights that they want to skip. For example, why am I not fighting Kefla in my Ultra Instinct form, but I'm fighting this big ass white demon thing with the rest of the Z fighters in Universe 7 for no reason? Why am I doing that? What's the what is the reason for? Why am I fighting him and not the Kefla fight? That's one of the most entertaining fights in Super. Why would that be the one you prioritize me to do? Why? Why is that character even in the game? You put that in there, but not Super 17 at base? That makes no sense. Why is there no GT arc in the episodes for you to dive into on the side? Why does Gohan's story start when he's a teenager? At least from what I was able to say, what I was able to play. I might be able to go back and start at an earlier point. I think you did say that. Somebody did say that at some point. Why does Vegeta not have a what if scenario of if he went Super Saiyan God first instead of Goku? Why doesn't Vegeta have a scenario of if he beat Jiren first instead of Goku? Why doesn't Vegeta have a scenario where he kills Goku and then he goes off to beat Frieza in a different timeline after the fact? They just randomly put effort into some what ifs and then not into others. I don't get why. I don't understand why. Especially for the two most important characters. I don't get why you wouldn't go all in on the what ifs for both of them in almost every arc.
Since powerful characters can become all but immune to your
He can't beat Jiren first without UI or Ultra Ego. They could have pulled out something. They could have pulled something out their ass. 100%. 100% they could have. They had his what if scenario be Vegeta randomly going Super Saiyan 2 after Trunks got shot in the chest by Cell. They had that happen. They could have made something up for the Jiren saga. They could have.
your normal attacks and will always have the perfect defense to match your offense, making it tough to experiment,
especially since they didn't give him a super arc,
and find these largely hidden special conditions when the pressure is on. You can lower the
and it's even more annoying knowing that they added Gohan Black as a what if scenario and a character that you could fight against. Bitch, give me a what if transformation. We coming from an era where they just decided out of the blue to put Super Saiyan 3 Broly and Vegeta in Raging Blast 2 for no reason. No what if scenario or nothing. Give me a random transformation. Put Ultra Instinct Vegeta in the game. Why not? Just do it. Just do it. You can do what you want. Just do it.
difficulty on a fight-by-fight basis in order to progress if you really need to, but these special tasks must be completed at least the standard difficulty, making finding them very much an endgame activity. But I did appreciate the effort to spice up the stories that have been rehashed ad nauseam. There are also custom battles, which exist.
Also, to get to the what if scenarios, I don't think I've ever been more annoyed. When you're playing to try to get to the what if scenario, they literally don't tell you shit. Especially when it's a time constraint. They're like, oh, put pressure on this nigga. What does that mean? Get him to 2 bars, 3 bars, 4 bars. What does that mean? Oh, defeat this enemy quick. What does that mean? 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes? They tell you nothing. Ambiguous as fuck. You figure it out once dialogue begins or once you already at a certain point and then the match ends. Oh, now I gotta restart the whole shit. Just nothing. They don't tell you shit. On top of that, if I'm not even talking about the what ifs, the story mode itself is ass. And I know Tenkaichi has never been a game that's prided itself on a story mode like that. Except Tenkaichi 2 for whatever reason. I don't remember that game when it comes to story mode, but y'all seem to love it. But just because that's been the nature of the history of the game don't mean that you can't do better this time around. Why not? Why not go crazy? I don't imagine Sparking Zero to have a sequel to itself anytime within the next 5 years or so. So why not go all in with story on this too. I do understand they got custom battle, so you can do whatever you want, realistically speaking. But it would have been really nice to have some cutscenes of some really important moments, bro. Nobody wants a slideshow of Gohan going or Goku going Super Saiyan for the first time. Nobody wants a slideshow of Goku and Vegeta having the, you know what I'm saying, Gallic Gun Kamehameha fight, bro. That deserves a cutscene. Certain shit in the game deserves a cutscene. I'm sorry, you're going to have to put that in the budget somewhere. You got to. You got to. Especially with a game that looks like this. The good thing about it, though, is a lot of the moments that you want to see cutscenes for, the game is so visually stimulating that you can really recreate those moments yourself just by fighting casually. That's how beautiful the game looks.
Somewhere between Mario Maker and the Universe mode in a WWE game, using a toolbox full of special modifiers that limit what characters can and can't do in a given scenario, as well as some triggers that help program particular outcomes after conditions are met. These battles...
Wait, so you wanted to see shit we already saw? I don't see a reason why you can't put it in this game in a way that retells it with its own vibe. You're acting like we haven't gotten that classic story being told for years anyway. I think some people take it as, since we've seen the story before, that means it can be presented like shit this time around because we've seen it or heard it before. That don't mean that you get to treat the same story that we might already know is coming on a bullshit platter simply because it's been seen before. That don't mean that the presentation still don't need to be good or up to par.
Can potentially resemble more of a puzzle than just mashing digital action figures together in dream situations. There's a shoddy system for putting together dialogue so that some sort of narrative can be added to them, but the best they can do is loosely set up make-believe stakes. I had no plans to write my own entire Dragon Ball arc, but I am not sure the tool's up to the task even if I wanted to. There are quite a few custom battles made by developer Spike Chunsoft baked in, and they don't really stretch the imagination that much. A few of them present interesting scenarios and specific parameters for victory, like seeing Kid Goku spar with Master Roshi, who can only be beaten by the Kamehameha.
That's funny.
But I haven't come across an aha creation that really shows me the potential of this mode. Sparking Zero at least seems to break the Tenkaichi curse of truly abysmal online multiplayer by supplying some solid network play. When wired up, I found minimal latency and lag issues on livelier servers, or at least not enough to blame it for me dropping a combo or missing a parry.
This is gonna be the part where when I am scrolling through menus, it's like nothing, like zero input delay, no nothing. Everything's snapping too. I'm scrolling through the menu, I'm clicking certain shit, I'm hitting a certain button, like everything's responsive, everything. When I pop on the game, even offline, and it's small, but you can feel it. You could feel the input delay. Even offline, you could feel the input delay. I want somebody to tell me that you're crazy. That's what I want somebody to tell me, that I'm not feeling it. Because when I'm offline and I press a button, my shit comes out a second later. Get a PC? I read through so many Reddits, so many forums of people saying that this game has crazy input delay. Now, when I popped on the game the first time, it didn't seem that bad. When I got online and I started playing, it was always a bit of a delay. I somehow got a little used to it, but for Sparking Zero to ever be even looked at or considered as a competitive fighter, they would have to do like some type of rollback, and I don't think that's possible with all the features and inputs that you can do in a game like Sparking Zero. So I don't think that'll ever happen. I don't know if they can improve the servers at any point, but I can feel the input delay online, which is why I don't take it too serious. But when I hop offline for whatever reason, I'll press my button and my character will start the combo like half a second later. And I'm not the only person that got it. It's so weird. Stop saying that like it's the solution to everything. Sometimes input delay is kind of just in the game. It can't be in a game like this. It can't be in a game like this. Especially when Tenkaichi 3 had either none or so minimal that it wasn't noticeable. When I popped on Tenkaichi 3, I'm like, yo, this shit is almost instant. When I'm on Sparking Zero, and I'm trying my best, I feel like there's a setting, or there must have been a button that I clicked, or there's an issue with the display, or something. But I'm trying my best, and I literally can feel it come out like half a second after I press my button. I'm in training mode right now, and I cannot for the life of me see what you're talking about. Press your button and count how long it takes for it to come out after you press. All I want you to do. Wired controller. I set my Bluetooth controller to wired, and I started using it, and I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Because when I first started playing the game, like when I first booted it up, when we did the first stream, I swear to God I was not feeling that. I swear to God I was not feeling that delay when I first popped on the game. Input delay is baked into the game, even in online, to condition everyone into not feeling it as much when playing online. This is basically the law for every delay-based netcode game. This is how it goes. I did not feel that when I first started playing. I'm gonna be dead serious. When I first started playing the game, I did not feel that. And that can't exist for I just don't feel like that can exist for a game like this. Like, it's too visually stimulating. In the game, what it's based off of, and the fights that we've watched since we were children, all that bullshit, it needs to be instant, like Snap 2. D-pad input delay, no, that's different. I didn't get to the online glitches. I just got to the input delay. The glitches online have literally got me killed. Like, I'm almost A rank. I'll wash a nigga with Goku, one or two of his characters. Then I'm like, all right, my Goku about to die. Let me switch out. What? What you mean I can't leave? I'm in a gauntlet? What is this? What does that mean? Why can't I leave? Why, my D-pad to the left don't work? I can't switch out? Oh, boom, I'm dead. Thanks. That's cool, man. That's amazing. Thanks. I appreciate that. When I'm about to start a combo, if I'm in Sparking and I get a nigga in a combo, I launch his bitch ass up in the air. Why am I doing a perception when I'm trying to do my ultimate? I gotta hit my ultimate 3 times for the move to come out. What up with that? Why is my input doing that? Sound like a patch is needed? Can they do that? I don't know when or if they can patch it. Sometimes I try to transform. You know how awkward it is when you fighting somebody online, y'all throwing hands, the match is going super fluid outside of the input delay that's online. And I get the input delay online, I do. But y'all fighting, all of a sudden the complete vibe is thrown off because this nigga has to stop in his tracks to go up on a D-pad and then hit a button. Where in the old games, you could just do multiple inputs at the same time and get your transformation off. I think that input system would have been way better because it wouldn't feel so awkward and having to stop motion literally completely in order to transform. And the same thing is true for offline play too. I just think it feels awkward. The multiple buttons at the same time thing worked way better for me because it seemed like the game responded to it way better. And even character transitions in and out, I know that they have to, throw a lot into the game. So I'm trying to be I'm trying to give a little bit of benefit of the doubt, but when you're transitioning from character to character, it feels like the whole game freezes for a second in order to get one character out and get one character in, and it just doesn't feel smooth. It don't feel like a smooth transition at all. Like you know how you switch or transition in Storm 2 or Storm 4? Like, it was way easier to just get that character in and get another character out. Granted, you had way less inputs on Storm 4. You could do way less. It was less going on in the game, so I understand why, but like character transition, I feel like I don't know, at some point we gotta switch it at some point. I don't know. I don't think that'll ever change, but still, like, swapping is just like, I don't like it. I just really don't like it. If I can help it, I'll stay on one character the whole match if I can. Storm switching was so clean, you could do it at any time, on God. But again, that's a smaller game. Well, was it a smaller game? They had less to render, you know what I'm saying, less to load. And the combat system on Storm 4 is just so simple. It's literally a button masher. I get it. But the input delay, I want to be the only person that's going through that so that somebody could tell me, yo, It's not happening because I need to get my settings or something back to a point where it was no input delay, at least offline. I could tolerate it to a certain degree online, but offline I'm feeling it and I don't know why. They should have gave you tap to D-pad to change characters or something. Who's my main? I don't think I have a main, but I've been using like Gohan and Yamcha and Goku a lot. I'm trying to get Yamcha really is my best low key. Cause I'm doing some shit with bro that like I feel like I've never done before. Like me and Yamcha ain't never been locked in a Dragon Ball game like this before. Nah, I got that shit too, shaking my head. Nope, it's happening. Oh my fucking god, please don't tell me that, bro. Can they fix input delay with a patch? Wait, can they switch it? Can they fix it in the base game though? Cause if they can, oh my god, I still have hope. And I won't, you know what I'm saying, be as dead inside as I sometimes feel when I'm knowing about the little delay. If they can fix it, that would be beautiful. And I'm not trying to get, it's not like a permanent indignation against this game or nothing like that. It's only like a week old, technically, when it comes to public release. So I'm trying to give it a chance. I do think there'll be a patch within like, at least I give them like another week and a half, 2 weeks before they drop a patch for at least online and offline modes when it comes to inputs and certain glitches. I don't doubt that there'll be a patch. It's just, will it address the things that I'm talking about? Hopefully, because those are really the biggest issues is movability and combat mechanics on the game. No, that's really it. If they could fix that, the other shit that the reviewer or even I might have talked about in this video is really non-consequential, because I'm only playing the story mode once. And I am going to utilize custom battles, and I am going to play online. But the story mode thing is like a little bit more on the egregious side, but that's only for first-time players. If you played the game already, you're probably not going back to story mode like that.
There is a local split screen option for people who want to duke it out in person, but it's disappointingly...
I just don't know why, out of everybody that I've seen play this game, why nobody has said anything about that, though. The input delay. I know it's in a honeymoon phase, so I get it, but it's just like, I feel like for a game that requires the responsiveness that some of the inputs require to pull off some of the moves that are required, you need snap to no delay almost inputs in order to pull that shit off.
Limited to just one stage. The white void of
It also might be your monitor.
Liner or a guttural power-up screen is still the best way to do it by far.
Kept you waiting, huh?
Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is a final flash from the past, sometimes to a fault, as demonstrated by its archaic menus and remedial training tools. Its episode battles have the kind of reaction-heavy difficulty that doesn't really exist in most games these days, more than once crossing the line between challenging and frustrating. But the feeling of traveling back to a simpler time when games didn't have to be balanced or competitive to be fun is a good one.
It is. Just saying though. If you hop online, bro, and you're able to get those rank just don't play rank though. That's probably my fault. That's probably most people's fault in general when it comes to complaining about the online community for Sparking Zero, is going in ranked. Because I'm assuming if you stay locally, or you play with friends in person, or you stick to player match, you won't even notice some niggas trying like there's money on the line. If you run into a Broly that's key spamming and you don't know about the revenge counter shit, if you run into a Dr. Wheelo, you know what I'm saying, a big ass ape type character, you walk into a room and it's a Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, it's a Vegito, it's a Master Ultra Instinct Goku, it's a fucking Yajirobe, it's a character that knows how to get into sparking in less than a second. Like, if you don't get one of those matches, you're gonna have mad fun. Mad fun. Ranked is fun when you find the right person, but the Yajirobe, I can't even say it. Fusion teams are insufferable. They are. Bro, I fought a nigga 6. I got him to red health like 4 or 5 times. This nigga is so pussy. He ran behind a rock in the open field just so that I could not key blast him to death, just so he could take a sensu bean. I know the game not supposed to be balanced, but nigga, this is insane. This is ridiculous, bro. And the match ended up going to time limit because he's running from me. It's only so many dragon dashes I can do before the nigga just assumes that I'm gonna attack him when I get out of my dash and he just hold O. Like, what the fuck? What are you doing that for, bro? There's no money on the line. We having a regular match. You are a C rank character. What are you playing like that for? Why are you using androids that replenish their health without having to charge them so you can keep last spam me? Granted, I can't revenge counter. But what the fuck? What's wrong with you, dude? It's not that serious. And the thing is, I can't even say that it's bad or that it hasn't always been like this, because it's been cheese in Dragon Ball games forever. We just haven't had the online capabilities to see what niggas was doing. I feel like that's something they'll fix. I don't know. I feel like they need to put a time limit on the sparking. I feel like they need to put a limit on how many times you can go sparking in an online match. I feel like certain characters need a patch or a nerf. Especially Yajirobe. I know, bro, if I see Yajirobe on your team in ranked and you B rank, what the fuck? I'm quitting. And then when you cook them, they rage quit, you don't get any points. It's nothing worse than spending your entire time fighting, you know, a Fusion and Master Ultra Instinct 2 characters just for him to quit after you absolutely destroy him and realize that it's not gonna work. 2 seconds in, okay. But see, I'm the type of quitter, right? I will quit, but I see shit in the beginning. If I see a Yajirobe on your team, I'm leaving. I'm not gonna try to fight. I'm not the type of person that's gonna get all the way down to red health before I realize I'm about to lose the match. I'm just not gonna fight you. I'm leaving. Bye. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna try. I know this is about to be annoying. I'm just leaving off rip. So we don't gotta waste our time. You ain't gotta get me to low health, and I don't have to fight you for 600 seconds out of however long the match is gonna be. I'm gonna just leave. We're not doing this, bro. I'm tired.
Especially when that
Every fucking game
stays so true to that of the show it's recreated. Reliving a story that was foundational to my youth, looking and sounding as great as I remember it, with the opportunity to alter it in sometimes dramatic new ways is clever, and the addition of tools to attempt to create your own stories could elevate the experiment even further if the community can figure out how to make the most of it.
That's true.
For more, check out our reviews of Metaphor ReFantazio and The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom.
So this reviewer said almost nothing wrong in this entire video, was very respectful, I feel, with his criticisms, and also really delicate with the Dragon Ball community despite not seeming that enthusiastic about covering the game anyway. And he somehow still got dislike bombed because the score says 7 out of 10, because people don't know how to acknowledge that that's a good score somehow. I don't understand why this has as much hate as it has. I don't get it. But then again, that is me having too much faith in the average IQ of a gamer.